All right, all right. Well, today is another day, another hot one. Holy crap! It's supposed to be like over 100 again, and I've been trying to get out in the mornings to do all my stuff. I haven't done any repair work in a while, and but I need to get out there, right? I've been going to the gym, with my back problems and all that stuff. I'm recovering very well though, and my legs are still weak. I'm having to go to the gym, and I get on the exercise bike and watch some videos, listen to some tunes or something, and ride away. Which inside it's actually pretty boring. It's hard to go over 15 or 20 minutes without just wanting to go off and do something else. I used to go. I have an old Cannondale that it was an old mountain bike, and I converted over to more of a trail and commuter bike, right? And loved it. I used to go out a lot on that thing and just ride the local trails, and there's a lot of parks out here, and even state parks, national parks, you name it. We've gone everywhere. This bike, I've had it since what year? I think this is it a 95 or a 98 model Cannondale. Awesome bike. And that's what I was trying to do. I was trying to go to the gym and get my legs back into, get some strength back and some balance back and start riding my bike again, but it's going to take a while. So what did I decide to do? I decided to go and look at electric bikes. Everything's going electric. We've been trying electric lawnmowers, and I'm actually growing quite fond of them now with the lithium-ion batteries. They're lightweight, they're quiet. The batteries last long enough to finish a yard. I don't have to drag a cord around. I'm really liking them, and they are lasting a long time, right? It's not like before where you have a battery and after a couple of seasons you're going to have to replace them, and it's a pain in the butt to keep them charged. With these, no, they last a long time. These lithium batteries are doing very well, and I started looking at electric bikes, and my brother actually got one too, so I was able to take a look at his. And the moment him and his wife, my Corey, she got one also, and so I rode hers around with my brother, and that first ride, man, I came back and said, okay, I got to have one. This is perfect, too perfect for what I'm trying to do. It gave me enough assist where I can still pedal around like a normal bike. I get some exercise, but once I get tired, or going up a hill that I otherwise wouldn't be able to do, then I have the electric assist, and it's working fantastic. So I decided to go out and get one. He got one of the main brands. What is it? I had to go look real quick. It's the Aventon. He got a couple of those, and they're really nice. The Aventon Adventure 2 or something like that. Very, very nice bikes. And so I started looking around. I was like, which way do I want to go? Because these bikes, like the Aventon, and the one I chose out, it has the huge 26 by 4-inch wheels. They're massive, they're heavy, they're massive bikes, but it's a do-all, right? You can go off the trail, you can haul stuff around, you can just use it around your neighborhood. It just does everything. When before I was thinking, well, if I had something to match that Cannondale that I have, and use it for street, gravel trails, stuff like that. I don't do anything heavy duty on mountain biking anymore, but just on trails and gravel trails, that would be perfect. So it would be more of a trail or a commuter bike, and comparing the cost, so I narrowed it down between those two of what it's going to be, like more of a commuter trail bike versus the full blown, right? And started looking at the pricing. It was like, well, for $200 or $300 more, I might as well just go full bore and get it all, right? The pricings were, you know, with the brands I was looking at, I narrowed it down also between about 4 brands, and looking at the features that are on there and all that good stuff. But anyway, well, let me show you what I chose. Well, there she blows. It's this thing is huge. You really don't see a good scale model, right? You know, unless somebody's sitting on it, or until you start handling it. Then you notice that these things are huge. The 26-inch tires, they're 4 inches wide. They're pretty massive. This one is the Ride1up. These are the guys making these bikes. This is the Rift model, and supposedly this is just a big do-all. I've already added a couple of things. It didn't come with the drink holder or phone holder. I put that on myself. And this, I took stuff off of my Cannondale and put there temporarily. But it's a pretty cool bike. I mean, they weigh a ton. It was like 90 pounds or so. So when you're hauling it around, it seems pretty heavy. But when you're riding it, it doesn't matter because you've got the electric assist back there anyway. This one has a pretty good size motor, 750 watt, which is pretty common on these bikes. This one has the torque value on it was pretty high. This had a 95 Newton meters of torque, when a lot of them you see there might be 750, but with only 75 Newton meters of torque. So this one really takes off pretty quick. This one, the bike rack was built in on it, and instead of just adding the bike rack to the framework, you know, screwing it on, all that stuff, the old way, it has about a 50-pound weight capacity, but with everything welded on like this is a 150-pound capacity. And you know, there's different accessories you can put on it. You can put there's a seat pad you can put on with foot pegs. You know, you can actually carry somebody around, either a sibling or, you know, a pet, you know, whatever. And I thought that was pretty good. And the brakes on this one, these are hydraulics, and that's pretty common also. But what made this difference, there we go. This is a 4-piston. Most of them you see are only 2, but these are 4-piston brakes, hydraulic brakes. So the braking is good, and that's kind of what sold me on this bike. It has a beefier engine, the beefier payload, and beefier brakes, right? And the rest of it is almost the same as any other bike out there, right? But there is a difference. They're not all the same. Had the front and rear lights, and the rear lights they're built in on the frame, and they are brake lights. So I thought that was great. So when you brake, it shines bright. Oh, what else? This one has the cadence sensor on it. There are 2 types. There's a cadence sensor and there's a torque sensor. And the trend is going towards the torque sensor. So with the torque sensor, it's a little more, it reacts to the pressure that you're putting on the pedals. The harder you pedal, the more it'll assist you, right? So it feels a little more intuitive. It feels like it's, what should I say, smoother acting. It's more responsive to how fast or how hard you're pedaling. With the cadence sensor, sure, it senses how fast you're going, but when it kicks in the assist, it's at certain levels. Boom, boom, boom. And so say if I'm on level 1 and I start pedaling, with the cadence sensor, it senses that it's moving, and it'll start putting out, say, 100 watts. And it's at that level, right? With the torque sensor, if you start out in level 1 and start, you know, pedaling very slow, well, it might only be be putting out 20 watts, 30 watts, 40 watts, just however fast you're pedaling. And then once you start pedaling harder, it'll reach that maximum of 100 watts. And that's at level 1, so you set the different levels. So with the torque sensor, you have a little more control between the settings and the way it reacts to the way you're riding, right? And with this one, I was watching a bunch of videos, and it did give some good ratings on this certain cadence sensor. It said it reacts fast. I've seen some that reacted really slow. It was like 3 or 4 seconds before it kicked in if you started pedaling. I was like, well, that kind of sucks. 3 or 4 seconds might not seem like enough, but that's a lot when you're trying to get things moving, right? But so think about that when you're looking at electric bikes. Yeah, it's a tough decision when you start looking at them, because this one's huge, and I almost went the commuter side and just get something that's made for more of the light trail and stuff like that. Some of them have the 27.5 by 2.5 inch tires, so a little taller, a little skinnier, gives a little more agility. Some of them have more street tires rather than knobbies on there. I mean, there's I guess you got to figure out, what you plan on doing with it, and then make your choice. And with this one too, I wanted something that can do some heavier trails, because one of the latest trends is taking these things off hunting, right? And I do a lot of deer hunting when the time comes, and I can see why this would be great. They're coming in camo and all that stuff. Well, I got this just that flat. It's not exactly black. It's a flat charcoal color or something like that. But I could take this, hunting also, right? And I can carry this huge load. I can pull a trailer, if I'm gonna, carry stuff out to the blind, or go and retrieve your deer or whatever. And it's silent, right? It's not like you won't be hauling butt around like on an ATV or a UTV, but they sure are a lot quieter. If you want to run around in stealth mode, these are great. I mean, you can get just about anywhere you want. And the range-wise, with full assist, you can get 30 or 40 miles. With, without any assist, and you're just pedaling around a lot, you can get 75, 80 miles. So you can go quite a distance with these things. This one had a pretty big battery on it. It's a 48 volt. I forget the capacity. I think it had a larger capacity. That was another selling point for me on this one anyway. It had the beefier drivetrain, longer range, stuff like that. But that is the direction I'm going. So as I tweak this thing, I'm sure we'll be going for a ride, and I'll cover it a little more as we go. Well, I forgot to mention that I'm surprised it kind of took me so long to get an electric bike, because back in the day, it was 34 to 35 years ago, and that was my senior project. I was studying to be an engineer, and that was my senior project. I designed an electric bike. Guess what? And I did get an A, but everybody else thought it was a stupid idea. But look at the market now, huh? But that's it. So that's the new toy, and we're having a blast so far riding this around. I've only had this thing for a couple of days, and I'm tweaking it, and sorry to say, I'm probably going to have to call customer service on one of them. It acted kind of weird. I'm not used to it yet, so maybe that's the norm. I don't know, but it seemed kind of strange the way it did. But I'll find out. I'll talk to him and see what the hell's going on. Because like I said, with the cadence sensor, it's supposed to sense, when you're pedaling or you know, so that it'll control the output of the motor. And it was doing that. I had it on level 1, so that's the least amount of assistance that it would provide. And it would start out where I'm pedaling around, and it felt like a normal bike, right? I can feel a little assistance, but all of a sudden it kept going faster and faster until I wasn't pedaling anymore. It's like, no, that's not what I wanted. And I'm sitting there looking at the output on it, and it was way over the setting, right? So there's something wrong with either the controller or the cadence sensor or something, but I'll find out. But until then, once we start going around, I'm sure you'll see this pop up every now and then. But until then, I guess thanks for watching. Be sure to subscribe and watch for my next video.